Hi, it's time for Spider and Old Scooter again. It's raining outside here in the mountains of New Mexico. A blessing. Thank you, Lord. TYL. Thank you, Lord. This is, excuse me. I wish I didn't have to do that. Or I wish I had a cough switch. But wishes, if they were fishes, would fly in the face of dishes and other wisdoms. We're here to play Spider Solitaire. The name of this one is the Wild and Polyglot edition, for reasons that either will or will not become obvious. We're going to talk about the Big Uglies, which I said we were going to talk about in the last game, but didn't get to it. False advertising, fake news, bad throat. Hear the thunder in the background? It's just a blessing. I'll tell you sometime about the rain turtle. Seriously involved. So anyway, we're here to play the game, and I will tell you about the Big Black Uglies as we go. I'm really working at trying to play the game without thinking too hard about it, so that I can leave some little part of my brain free to talk. It's a modest. Wife reports the thunder scared a dog named Gunner, who jumped up on the sofa. But he's not forbidden from jumping up on the sofa. He just doesn't do it very often. Gunner, isn't that a great name for an Airedale? He flunked out of some kind of training program that involved guns because he's gun shy. A male dog named Gunner, who is gun shy, has whiffs of tragedy in it, but great dog. Love Gunner. And he loves me. Well, it's not much happening in that particular hand, I think. Of course, I'm trying not to think. I'm trying to learn to do this automatically and make reasonably good plays. So the Big Uglies. When it's raining like this, there are celebrations here in the old household because we run on rainwater. There's a huge amount of our effort to raise plants, vegetables and flowers and herbs and garlics and all the stuff that we raise. We do mainly with rainwater because our well has gone dry, and it just seems like good common sense to collect rain when you're in a dry climate, but it does rain occasionally. We get like 13, 14 inches a year here in the mountains of New Mexico, the East Mountains, not any of the big formidable mountains. We're just at 7,500 feet. Just up the road there's a 12,000 footer in the Sandias. I think it's Mount Sandia. I'm not sure about that. I've only lived here for 17 years. You don't expect me to know all these things, do you? So here we are, sort of the halfway point of the game, and it is not looking promising. Probably has to do with my semi-attentiveness. I have to learn to speak more clearly, articulately, and so forth, because I'm going to do a book on tape, like we used to say, of this book, Ms., written by this guy, Scooter. And it's not easy. I've actually practiced a little bit. You know, you listen to books on tape, I'm sure they're all the rage. Way too hard to read these days, because you can listen to your book while you're doing something else, like taking a long drive across the southwestern deserts, which is sometimes spectacular and other times very boring. But you listen to a book on tape, and of course it's on solid state memory. It's not, in your iPod or your phone or somewhere. Remember iPods? They were such an amazing revelation. I remember one of my company's clients, a guy who was a general manager of a radio station in Louisville, Kentucky. Wave. I shan't besmirch his name on this silly spider-nose scooter thing, but a nice guy, and he had he was an early adopter. He had an iPod before any of the rest of us had really heard of him much, and he was talking about putting his 2,000 CD collection of music on his iPod, and we all thought he was exaggerating its capacities, but there you go. I do exaggerate capacities on occasion, especially my own, so it was credible to me. So anyway, during rains like this, bless you rains, bless you rain turtle, and thank you Lord. All of the proper responses to a gift from the heavens. Pure, clean rainwater just falling out of the sky. It's sort of miraculous. And we capture it all. We capture all we can. We drain every roof except one. We have a 2-car garage. That roof is drained. We got a chicken shed. That roof is drained. This house has 2 or 3 roofs. They're all drained into these big black plastic cisterns, 1,600 gallons. I have 3 of those, a 1,200 gallon and a 600 gallon. I also have a 3,000 gallon one that's our drinking water. And that comes in a truck because I don't have all of the filters and UVs and everything it takes so you can drink your rainwater. We use it all anyway on agriculture. We're kind of farmish here. Low-level farming. Vegetables, flowers, and so forth. But a rain is a blessing, and we're having one. And we're catching all that water in these big black cistern tanks, which I call the Big Uglies. They're not ugly, they're beautiful to me, but everybody says, oh, that's kind of ugly. At first, then you get used to them and you like them, like some people, So our Big Uglies have been out there collecting rainwater for about 15 years. And I've never cleaned out the tanks, and although they drain the roofs, and the roof has dust on them, and pine needles, and probably bird poop, and various other things. For 15 years, and so I cleaned one out. And if you're looking for a service business to go into, you might start the cistern cleaning business. Out here in the West, cisterns are pretty common. A lot of people collect water. And I tried to find, cistern cleaners. I called all kinds of people. Well people, tank people, people who actually sell the cisterns. The only operation that apparently could handle the job are the same people who clean out your septic tanks. And I don't know, something about that is just unappetizing. I didn't want to use those guys, so I did it myself. And I burned up one of my prized possessions, a shop vac. I was down there sucking up the muck from this thing. It's, 8 feet in the ground for hours. And I smelled this. I turned around and smoke was coming up out of the motor, and it died on the spot. I overworked a shop vac, which is not easy to do. They're tough mothers and probably fathers in the weird world of shop vacs. I think where'd all those shop vacs come from? You think they don't have mothers and daddies? I did this, I can do this and this, which is kind of okay. Actually, it's the best thing I've had so far. This is the last card. This is the hospice round. I'm not making progress worth a hoot. I did get to tell you about the Black Uglies, though. And right now, at least one of them is clean as a whistle. Sacrificed a shop vac to it. But got it clean. And now we've had almost an inch of rain this month after 2 months of zipola. Maybe the occasional dust settler, but no real rains. So the monsoons have begun. Water, water everywhere. And I'm a grateful man. Gratefulness is not a really easy emotion for some people. You have to kind of practice to learn how to be unwaveringly grateful, not guilty grateful, not I don't deserve it grateful, not you're just trying to get on my good side grateful. None of that stuff. Just pure, simple grateful. I'm practicing it right now and loving every second of it. So with that, I will fade modestly, humbly, and discreetly into the background. Good night, one and all.